Hello, I'm Shelley Katz, a musician technologist, which means I enjoy the privilege of working as both a performing artist and an audio sound technologist, inventor, designer, researcher. So, what is layered sound? In scientific terms, layered sound is a method of designing loudspeakers and audio systems to propagate sound with an air disturbance pattern that closely emulates the physical characteristics of sound usually experienced only in the best concert halls. In my view, the best sound is natural sound. The sound of a waterfall, the sound of a mother singing a lullaby to her child, the sound of a beautiful traditional instrument like the Korean gyeogum or the Chinese erhu, and the sound of a Steinway piano or of a Stradivarius violin. But in my experience, conventional loudspeakers don't provide me with a faithful reproduction of these instruments that is the same as the experience I have when I hear these instruments, or the human voice, in live performance. Why not? Well, natural sound heard in a room or a concert hall can be described as having two parts, two components. And depending on the relationship between these two components, we humans will find the sound easier to listen to, easier to understand, and easier to enjoy. In short, we will find it more natural. The two components are what we describe as the direct or coherent sound and the indirect or reflected sound. What are the characteristics, or how would you recognize these sounds? Well, if you imagine yourself in a small closet that is filled with clothing, you're in this closet with another person and you're holding a conversation, the sound will be very dry. It won't have any spaciousness. That's the sound of coherent sound. That's very direct. If you imagine yourself at the back of a church and you're listening to the sounds that you hear in the church, that's incoherent and very reflected sound. It's hard to tell even where the sound comes from at the back of a church. Now, if you could combine those two sounds, and if you could combine producing those two sounds, then you would have layered sound, and that is in fact what we have achieved. We have the technology and the methods of building and designing loudspeakers and audio systems so that we are able to create the sound waves, to move the air so that it has the same characteristics of both of those kinds of sounds combined into the same system. And we do that without digital signal processing and without any other effects. We can use the effects to enhance it and make it even better, if that is the goal. But what we need first, and what sound needs, is physically, in terms of how does it move the air, and so that we experience the physical characteristic and the patterns in the air. The way to do that simply and effectively is with the layered sound technology. And that's what we do here at this company.